In the kingdom of Velmoor, there was one rule every child learned before they could walk. Never go near the Black Forest after dark. And never, no matter what you heard, never listen to the song. Nobody knew when she had first appeared. Some said she had always been there, older than the kingdom itself, hiding between the oldest trees in the darkest part of the forest. They called her the Singing Witch. She needed no other name. Every few years, when the moon turned the color of ash, the people of Velmoor would hear it. Soft, impossibly beautiful, a sound that made your feet move on their own, through the door, down the road, into the forest. And nobody who walked into that forest following the song had ever walked back out. The kingdom had tried everything, wax in the ears, walls, guards. Nothing worked. The song always found a way through. Then one winter, the ash moon rose again, and the singing witch began. But this time, there was a boy named Ren, who could not hear a single note. Ren had been born deaf. In a kingdom full of music and sound, he had grown up in complete silence. People pitied him, children mocked him, but Ren had learned things in his silence that no hearing person ever could. He had learned to read the air, to feel vibrations through the ground, to watch and understand before anyone told him anything. When the ash moon rose and the people of Velmoor began walking toward the forest with glazed eyes and empty faces, Ren was the only one who noticed, and Ren was the only one who could stop it. He watched from his window as his neighbors walked past one by one. Then his mother stood up from the fire without a word. His father set down his tools. They moved toward the door together, their faces peaceful and empty, like they were dreaming while awake. Ren threw himself in front of the door. His father walked through him without seeing him. His mother stepped past without looking down. Ren scrambled up and grabbed his mother's arm. She did not stop. She pulled away without turning. Her eyes were open, but she was not there. Ren did the only thing he could think of. He ran ahead of them. He ran into the Black Forest first. He could not hear the song, but he could feel it. A vibration in the ground beneath his feet. A pressure in his chest. Something that moved through stone and wood and earth and reached inside and pulled. Even without ears, the song had a physical weight, but he had spent his whole life learning to feel things without hearing them, and he had learned to decide for himself what to do about what he felt. He went deeper into the forest. The trees were enormous and black and ancient. The ground was covered in frost. His breath made white clouds in the frozen air, and then he saw her. She was standing in a clearing between 4 ancient trees, an ice crown on her matted gray hair, dark ragged robes crusted with frost, a staff of twisted wood topped with a crystal of blue ice that pulsed and glowed with every note she produced. Her face was a ruin of wrinkles and cold, and something ancient beyond name, and her mouth was open. She was singing. He could not hear it, but he could see it. Around her, already arrived, were dozens of people from the village, standing completely still, eyes open, empty, being consumed by the sound. Ren stepped into the clearing. She did not notice him at first. She had never needed to notice anyone. They always came to her. They always stood still and listened. Nobody had ever walked into her clearing and remained themselves, but Ren remained himself. He studied her carefully. The blue crystal on her staff, it pulsed with every note. It was the source. He understood this the way deaf people understand things, through deep attention and instinct, and a lifetime spent watching instead of listening. The crystal was the song. Without it, there was nothing. He began to move toward her, slowly, She still did not see him. Her eyes were half closed in something like pleasure. Then she opened her eyes and looked directly at him. They stared at each other. He saw the exact moment she understood. Confusion first. She had never been looked at like this, with clear, unaffected eyes, by someone standing in her clearing. Then fear, genuine and sudden and old. She poured everything into the song, every bit of power she had, trying to reach him. The vibrations in the ground became so strong he staggered. His vision blurred. His knees wanted to buckle, but he did not hear it. And hearing was how it worked. The song entered through the ears and traveled to some ancient part of the brain that could not resist beauty. Without ears, the song had no door. He straightened. He took one more step, then another. She scrambled backward. For the first time in centuries, the singing witch retreated. He kept walking toward her. She raised her staff. The crystal blazed blinding blue. He grabbed the staff with both hands. She was terrifyingly strong, and she yanked and pulled and hissed at him. He held on. They struggled in the clearing, surrounded by standing, sleeping people. Then Ren did what he had planned from the moment he saw the crystal. He covered it with both palms, flat against the blue ice, feeling its terrible vibration against his skin, and he held it. He pressed his hands together over the crystal until his palms burned with cold and his fingers went numb and his arms shook. The blue light bled through his fingers, trying to escape. He would not let it. He pressed harder, and slowly the light began to dim. The witch screamed. He felt it as a shockwave through the ground. The people in the clearing flinched. Some of them blinked. He held on. The crystal flickered, pulsed, flickered again. The witch clawed at his hands. Her nails were like ice, and her grip was burning cold. Blood ran down his wrists. He held on. The light was fading now, each pulse weaker than the last. She was not just losing her weapon, she was losing something essential to herself. Something she had carried for so long. It had become part of her. The last pulse of blue light went out. The crystal went dark. Then it cracked. A single fracture ran through its center, and then it shattered into 1,000 pieces of dark ice that fell to the frost and disappeared. The silence that followed was total. Ren had always lived in silence, but this silence was different. This silence was new even to him, because he could see what it was doing to the people around him. They were blinking, looking around. Their eyes were clearing like fog burning off at sunrise. One man looked at his hands. A woman looked at the trees. A child looked confused and then found his mother 3 steps away and ran to her. They were back, all of them. Ren looked at the witch. She had fallen to her knees when the crystal broke. She looked much smaller now, and older. She was looking at her empty hands with an expression he could not name. She looked at Ren. He looked at her. She said something. He could not hear it, but he watched her lips and her face and understood. She was saying it was over. She was saying she was tired. She was saying she had been doing this for so long she had forgotten why she started. He nodded slowly. The people of Velmoor gathered their children and their families and walked out of the forest. The clearing emptied until only Ren remained. His parents were standing at the edge of the forest. His mother pulled him into her arms without words. His father placed his hand on his shoulder and kept it there. Ren could not hear any of it, but he could feel his mother's heartbeat against his chest. He could feel the steadiness of his father's hand. He could feel the ground solid under his feet, and the cold morning air on his face. The ash moon set. The sun rose, and in the black forest, for the first time in centuries, there was silence. real silence, the kind that is simply peace. The boy who had lived his whole life in silence had given silence back to a world that had forgotten what it felt like. And sometimes the thing the world calls your greatest weakness is the only thing powerful enough to save it. This was the Untold Realm. Subscribe now, because next week another secret will be revealed.